the Global Energy Leaders Podcast, Conference Edition.
Welcome to the Global Energy Leaders Podcast, powered by R Squared Global.
Welcome to another edition of the Global Energy Leaders Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Ray. So good to have you. And today we have on the folks from Roseland Oil Gas. And guess what? This conference is free. So no reason not to attend if you're in the Midland area. October 17th and 18th. They also have a golf tournament on the 16th. So if you're interested in oil and gas and what's going on in the Permian Basin, this could be the conference for you. We recorded this on August the 7th. So when you're hearing this, there might not be any booths or sponsorship opportunities available, but reach out to the guys and see if that is something that you are interested in. Without further ado, here's Denny Pilcher from Roseland Oil Gas. Well, Denny, we like to bring on folks to talk about events that bring value to our listeners, and I believe this one might just do that. Tell us what's going on at Roseland Oil Gas and what can they expect at the event coming up on October 17th and 18th in Midland, Texas.
This is our third annual West Texas Oil and Gas Convention to be held out in Midland, and basically what you can expect at one of our conventions is the opportunity for an attendee to see products and services that are going to help with efficiency. I mean, that's the name of the game right now. As drilling has picked up over the past year, probably 50% of that increase nationwide has come from the Permian Basin, and the name of the game is efficiency. I mean, that's what it comes down to. We've got to find ways to produce our product in a more efficient way so that we can still be profitable and keep this industry going. I mean, there's a lot of people in Texas that depend on the oil and gas industry. And if it's not profitable, it doesn't work. I mean, it's simple economics. And so these exhibitors who participate in our event, they're there to display their products and services for the oil and gas industry. There aren't many places where you can get hands-on. A lot of these guys bring their equipment to the shows, and they're willing to demonstrate, what they have to offer. They're not just there handing out brochures and throwing your name in a bowl so they can call you later. They're there to show their products and show what they have to offer.
Right, and you mentioned efficiency there, and the Permian is, by it seems all accounts, the most profitable play in America right now. But that doesn't mean that companies aren't looking to reduce costs and to maximize efficiencies and to streamline their process. We saw as the second quarter earning reports come out for a company like Pioneer, their stock took a pretty big hit. So companies going into the end of 2017, early 2018, they're going to look, how do they get the product out of the ground quickly and effectively? And I'd imagine also on top of that, some of these companies are going to be looking to hire because they've got this process figured out and might be doing some better business than other folks.
You're exactly right. It seems a little counterproductive when you think about it. When the industry was really blowing and going in 2014, our events, we produce these events, and our exhibitors were really voicing their concern was they were having a hard time getting the attention of these operators and producers and guys that they wanted to work for. They had a hard time getting their attention. And as things began to slow down, I realized, not just me, I mean, I'm no genius, but I think overall we realized that when things were good, efficiency wasn't quite as important, or people were really too busy to take the time to review new products and services. And so now that has become a very important issue, many of our customers have told me personally that they have had the opportunity to at least get a quote out to some of these guys who in the past they couldn't even get in the door. So The opportunities are there. Like you said, people are they're looking to be more efficient. So now is the time, to have that opportunity.
Well, and you brought up something there that I've talked about before several times is If you go back to 2014 and oil starts to fall, you start seeing people talk about the break-even price, and the break-even price is this, and the break-even price is that, and the break-even price, and it kept changing, and I would just sit there and look at that and I go, okay, yeah, I mean, I know, I'm sure you guys have this formula on how you do stuff, but actually in the business, when you work in the business and you see how things operate at $100 oil, what happens is that they're trying to get the product from the ground to the refinery as quick as possible, and that might mean they might look at 4 to 5 different options at the same time. They might buy extra right away, have it surveyed. The cost goes out the window, and so when you're trying to figure out what break-even prices are when things are blowing and going, it's completely different than it is right now when companies are actually concerned about, okay, we can't just overextend our budget. We have to be smart in how we do it. And so I think you're right. There is opportunity for companies who are trying to be strategic, who are trying to be opportunistic and saying, okay, that we want to find our spot in the market and we want to help this company reduce their cost. Companies are probably more prone to hear that right now, and it sounds like your event and what you guys are doing is really geared for that, so that an operator or a producer can come in and see what's being offered there. And what I tell my listeners is, if you're going to go to an event, one of the benchmarks as far as paying to get into an event is to figure out what kind of information can you find that you can't Google. And it sounds like what you guys are offering here is that you can come in and you can see exactly where the trends are heading for the rest of the year and into next year on how to be more energy efficient in the Permian Basin.
You're exactly right, and there are many things that you can gain from these events. It's not just finding a new product or finding a new service. Of course, that's the major thing that we're trying to offer, but the networking, the information you can gather, finding new supply partners. I mean, we have seen, different types of connections made at our event where, one of our customers comes in and says, I met this guy at your show and he's really going to help me do this in the future. Those relationships they're invaluable. Like you said, sometimes the need arises when you have to have something and you have to have it then. And, having these relationships that you can develop at these events is crucial. And one thing that we have done at our events is to try to create, we want to provide a really strong business atmosphere, but we also try to create an environment that's a little bit more laid back than what you would see at many other oil and gas conventions. For example, several of our customers are doing heavy equipment displays outside at the Horseshoe Pavilion, and they're going to have their barbecue trailers out there. They're going to be cooking, inviting their customers and potential customers to come, have a bite to eat. It creates a very laid back atmosphere where people can really get to know one another, on a personal level. And to me, that's invaluable.
Absolutely. Now let's go through the events that you have scheduled. It looks like on the 16th you have a golf tournament, and then the 17th and the 18th is the main exhibition hall. Is that correct? And anything I missed there?
No, that is correct. I think we have for our golf tournament. I was actually looking at it this morning, and we've got close to 200 players in the golf tournament right now. Still a few months away, so we expect that to be a large event for anyone who wants to network. We from time to time we come across companies who want the added exposure, but they don't feel like exhibiting is really something that they can benefit from. Maybe they're just not set up to exhibit. Maybe they don't have the staff, and we tell them about the golf tournament, and they say, well, heck yeah, we'll send a couple guys out there, and they can they'll invite a couple of potential customers to maybe come play with them, or we'll try to pair them up with some people that they think that they would like to get to know, and it's a really good opportunity to network.
No, absolutely, and
at the golf tournament.
Right. The golf tournaments are great. Even if you're a pitiful player like myself, you can get out there and at least have some fun, and meet some new people, And so October 16th, 17th, and 18th, the golf is on the 16th. The exhibition hall is on the 17th and the 18th. Do you still have spots if one of my listeners goes, you know what, I might want to sponsor a hole, I might want to put a booth up? Do you still have sponsorship spots available?
We do have some available. I think we're just about out of hole sponsors at the golf tournament. There may be a couple of other little opportunities available at the convention. We have. I think we're about 80% full on our exhibit space, so there is some space available there.
Okay, great. And so just for our listeners' benefit, this will be coming out a little bit after we're recording this conversation today. So as soon as you hear this, if you're interested in getting a sponsorship, reach out to the guys. We will link to their stuff in the show notes. And on top of this, you guys have a newsletter that you send out twice a week, chock full of stories and information. And tell us a little bit about that, and where can the listeners sign up for that at?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. When I first got into this business, I didn't know a whole lot about oil and gas. So every time I met somebody, I asked them, a lot of questions. And I learned real quickly that people get so busy that they don't have time to, scour the news and see what's going on out there. So we started putting out this newsletter, and it typically has 5 to 7 articles in it. And even if you only have time to read the headlines and the summary of the article, it gives you some idea of what's going on in our industry. We put that out twice a week right now, and every Tuesday and Thursday, and we've got right at 50,000 subscribers in the oil and gas industry who've received that newsletter. And we use that newsletter to, keep people informed, and it's also an added benefit that we use for our customers to help promote their products and services. So it's been very well received.
No, absolutely. And if you are a producer or a midstream company and you get this newsletter, one of the benefits is the newsletter has, as he mentioned, sponsors, and they're on the sides. It's not like invasive. You can look at the article and decide if you want to go there. But if you're looking for maybe an equipment contractor or something like that, there is companies that are right there that are going to be working in the area that you can reach out to and see if they can help you with your project. So it kind of has a almost a two-purpose thing. The ads are there, but the sponsors are there rather. But they're not invasive. The content that you're looking for is there. But if you go, you know what? I need an equipment contractor. I need someone to help me with this, that, or the other. There's a list of providers that are right there, so it's helpful all the way around. Now, listen, we're going to get you out of here with this. Where all can people connect with Roseland Oil and Gas? We mentioned the newsletter. Do you have social media? Obviously, you have the website. We'll link to that in the show note. Where else can they connect with you guys at?
You're always able to call. We've got several guys who are very eager to receive your phone calls. Our number is 903-787-7544. And, we found that a lot of times it's easier to call and tell us a little bit about what you do. And it gives us the opportunity to make suggestions on what we can offer you. A lot of people don't realize that we actually offer the booth displays. We can help people design their ads. We can provide their backdrops for the show. We can do pretty much anything they need. So, if you do have any questions or you feel like maybe you're not really sure if you're a good fit for our show, feel free to give us a call. We can tell you, what companies like yours have done in the past. We can tell you what types of companies you can expect to see at the show, what works, what doesn't work, that sort of thing. So along with our website, www.roselandoilandgas.com, or just feel free to give us a call anytime as well.
Absolutely. We will link to that in the show notes. And just kind of a point there is that anytime you have a list, an email list, it's a good thing. But if you have an email list that's targeted to oil and gas professionals, a niche audience that are ready, willing, and potentially able to purchase your product or service, that's a huge bonus there, because twice a week you can get the information out to them. So kudos to you guys for what y'all have done. And hopefully I'll be out there. I'll let you guys know here in the coming weeks, but I plan on attending and maybe do some interviews with some of the people at the conference and report back to my listeners what my thoughts were.
Well, I really appreciate that, and I'll remind everyone that it is free to attend. Once upon a time we used to charge, but it's free to attend the event. You can register online to make it easy, or you can show up the day of the show, and we'll get you right in.
Free attendance, you can't beat that. So even us media guys can slip in there without having to pay anything. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Well, dude, thank you so much. We will link to everything in the show notes, and we will let you get off of here. And best of luck to you guys and your conference here. And we'll talk to you again here in a few months. Hopefully, get you to talk about your spring event. Okay.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
The Global Energy Leaders podcast is produced by Michael Sims and Chris Prine. Chris Prine also serves as editor for the Global Energy Leaders podcast. Until next time, keep climbing.
Thanks for listening to the Global Energy Leaders podcast, powered by R Squared Global.